I really don't care what happens to her at all. I don't care. Like, everybody they tiptoe around with this social media. But what y'all don't get is that it be real consequence for y'all little flexes, y'all quick flexes for $300 that you need. It be consequences for that.
It started as a quiet night. Nothing unusual, nothing loud. But then, one text message changed everything. A private message, quietly typed by Teyana Taylor's daughter and sent directly to Iman Shumpert. Just 6 words, but they shook the entire family to its core. Please come get me. I'm scared. No one saw it coming. Not the fans. Not Teyana. And maybe not even Iman himself. But once the message was sent, there was no going back. Now, everyone's asking the same question. What was happening in that house that made a child send a desperate cry for help to her father, behind her mother's back? Since the public split between Teyana and Iman, things have looked calm, on the surface. Both insisted their co-parenting relationship was peaceful, loving, and built on respect. But insiders have whispered for months that things behind closed doors were far more complicated. Iman's been trying to keep his profile low, only sharing the occasional moment with his daughters. Meanwhile, Teyana has been moving forward, working, healing, and, according to some, quietly exploring a new relationship. The world has been watching, picking apart every photo, every caption, every public sighting. But for their daughter? She's been stuck in the middle, torn between the only 2 people she trusts, confused by adult emotions she can't fully understand. And something, this week, pushed her over the edge. According to close family insiders, the text message was sent late at night. Teyana was reportedly in another room, either asleep or distracted. And in that small window of solitude, her daughter picked up her phone and sent a quiet plea to her father. Daddy, can you please come get me? I'm scared. The message was short, but it hit Iman like a punch to the chest. He didn't wait. No second thoughts. No debates. He reportedly grabbed his keys, jumped in his car, and drove over immediately. Minutes later, he arrived. And there she was, his daughter, standing outside, shoes already on, hoodie pulled tight, eyes red and puffy. No screaming. No drama. Just a child waiting for someone to come save her from something she couldn't put into words. Iman brought her into the car, buckled her in, and drove straight to his home. He didn't call Teyana until they were already gone. Inside the car, the silence was heavy. Iman was holding back emotion, trying to stay calm for her. But his mind was racing. What had scared her? What had happened? According to people close to the situation, she didn't mention any physical danger, but she did say, very clearly, I didn't feel safe. She described the house as tense, loud, uncomfortable. She didn't cry, but her voice was shaking. Some say she had been feeling overwhelmed for a while, emotionally cornered, like she was walking on eggshells at home. Iman, listening, grew quiet. Then, sources say, he made 2 phone calls. One to his lawyer, to explore emergency custody options. The other to a therapist, to get his daughter help, fast. Because for him, this wasn't drama. This was his child. And this was real. Meanwhile, back at Teyana's home, chaos was unfolding. When she realized her daughter was gone, and that Iman had taken her, she reportedly panicked. She called him immediately, demanding answers. And Iman, according to sources, didn't yell or argue. He just said, she asked me to come. Those words hit hard. Teyana was furious, but also deeply hurt. Not just by what Iman did, but by the fact that her daughter never came to her first. People in her inner circle say she's feeling betrayed, confused, questioning everything. Was something happening in the house she didn't notice? Was the emotional environment becoming too much? Publicly, she stayed silent. No interviews. No captions. But she did post one cryptic message. Even queens cry when no one's looking. And fans immediately knew, this wasn't just about Iman. This was heartbreak. Online, the reaction was immediate and intense, spreading like wildfire across social media platforms. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all exploded with comments, opinions, and speculations about the situation involving Teyana, Iman, and their daughter. It seemed like everyone had something to say, and no one was willing to stay silent. Among the many tweets flooding the timeline, one caught a lot of attention. "Kids don't lie when they say they are scared. Something's going on." This comment struck a chord with many users, who saw it as a reminder that children's emotions are real and should never be dismissed. The innocence of a child's fear, after all, carries a weight far beyond words, and when a child reaches out like that, it's usually a sign that something significant is happening beneath the surface. However, not all responses were immediate assumptions of wrongdoing. Some fans urged caution and restraint. One thoughtful comment read, "Iman should have called Teyana first. You can't just take a child, even if it's your own." This reminded everyone that family dynamics are complicated, especially in co-parenting situations. No matter the love or concern a parent has, there are boundaries and protocols meant to protect everyone involved, especially the children. The idea that rushing in without communication could worsen an already delicate situation was a perspective many agreed with, advocating for patience and respect amidst the turmoil. As the discussions grew, so did the flood of hashtags, which began trending rapidly across different platforms. #TeamIman started to gain traction, with supporters praising the father for being present and responsive to his daughter's distress. Others rallied behind #ProtectTeyana, empathizing with the mother who was suddenly facing public scrutiny and personal challenges all at once. #Pray for that child was a quieter but heartfelt plea from users hoping for peace and safety for the little girl caught in the middle of this family storm. These hashtags became battlegrounds for supporters and critics alike, each side passionate about their views on what was best for the child and the family. As the social media frenzy continued, many fans dug deeper, sifting through past clips, interviews, and public appearances, searching for clues. Some claimed the daughter had shown signs of distress before, moments where she seemed upset, withdrawn, or confused during interviews or public events. These users argued that the recent incident was not isolated but part of a broader pattern of emotional struggle that had been bubbling under the surface for a while. On the other hand, others reminded everyone that children are incredibly sensitive beings. They absorb feelings, pick up on tensions, and sometimes, bottled up emotions can explode unexpectedly and without clear explanation. This added complexity to the public's understanding, highlighting just how fragile and layered children's emotional worlds can be. With all this public discourse swirling around, theories began to emerge, each more speculative and dramatic than the last. One of the most widely discussed possibilities was that Teyana's new partner, who had been seen quietly coming and going from her home, may have unintentionally caused the daughter discomfort or confusion. Not necessarily because he was harmful or threatening, but because his presence could have stirred complex emotions in a child still adjusting to changes in her family structure. The idea that a new adult presence, even a well-meaning one, might create emotional uncertainty for a child resonated deeply with many, who recognized how challenging it can be to navigate blended family dynamics. Another theory suggested that the child might have overheard a tense argument between adults, something she wasn't supposed to hear. This could have been anything from a disagreement between Teyana and Iman to a conversation involving other family members. Whatever it was, the theory posited that overhearing such a moment would naturally frighten a child and contribute to her feelings of insecurity. This notion aligned with the widely understood fact that children often internalize adult conflicts and can feel powerless when caught in the middle, which might explain her plea to her father. Speculation also extended to the idea that Iman and his daughter had been communicating privately for days, maybe even weeks, building toward this moment. Some fans imagined secret texts or phone calls that laid the groundwork for the daughter's decision to reach out to him. This theory suggested a pre-existing emotional connection that was growing stronger, culminating in her urgent request for help. Others feared darker possibilities, that this event was part of a larger custody battle, either planned or unfolding unconsciously, where emotions were being used strategically by the adults involved. Some even predicted that if legal proceedings became necessary, the daughter might be called to testify or share her feelings in court, an outcome that would undoubtedly change the dynamics of the family forever. But beyond the online drama, the theories, and the public speculation, there is something far more important, and heartbreaking, at the core of this story. A child reached out in fear and confusion. This wasn't about stirring up gossip or making situations messy. It was a raw, honest expression of discomfort and a plea for safety. When she said, Please come get me. I'm scared. Those 6 words carried a powerful weight. They weren't merely a request for physical rescue but a red flag, a warning sign from a young soul trying to navigate a confusing world of adult emotions and complex family relationships. Now, Teyana must face the painful reality that her daughter turned away from her at a moment when she needed comfort the most. That kind of rejection isn't just emotionally difficult, it leaves scars that can linger long after the incident itself is forgotten. It forces a mother to question everything about the home environment she's created, the emotional safety her children feel, and whether she missed signs or cries for help along the way. This is an incredibly vulnerable and humbling experience for any parent, especially when played out so publicly. Iman, meanwhile, finds himself walking a delicate legal and emotional line. While he is seen by many as a rescuer, someone who answered his daughter's call, he must also navigate the complexities of custody agreements, parental rights, and co-parenting protocols. His desire to protect and comfort his child is genuine, but in doing so, he risks escalating tensions or complicating the family dynamic further. The balance between being a protective father and respecting the boundaries of co-parenting is a tightrope walk that requires patience, communication, and often, professional guidance. In the end, this is a story about the fragility of childhood and the power of a child's voice. It's a reminder that when a child reaches out in fear, that call must never be ignored or dismissed. The internet may buzz with theories and opinions, but behind every hashtag and viral comment is a young life trying to make sense of a complicated world. And it is the responsibility of the adults in that world to protect her, not just physically, but emotionally and psychologically as well. So here's the hard truth. This family has reached a breaking point. And whatever happens next, whether it's therapy, court, or reconciliation, will shape their dynamic forever. This moment will not be forgotten. Not by Iman. Not by Teyana. And definitely not by the daughter who sent that message. If your child texted you in the middle of the night, asking to be rescued, would you go? Even if it meant stepping over your ex's boundaries? Was Iman right to act fast? Or should he have waited, called, coordinated? Let's unpack this in the comments. Hit that like button if this story hit you in the heart. And don't forget to subscribe for more real-life drama that digs deep into the emotional truth. Because when kids speak out, it's never just noise. It's the sound of something breaking.